Topping our lineup this Friday, police departments are starting to use a tool to find missing people and children. How this kit can be used by the everyday person to find people quicker. And snowstorms across the country are some of the hardest weather events to predict. How a new tool could change that. And you may have noticed this week Spotify added playlists for your dog. We're getting answers on if your pets actually are benefiting from this.
Thanks for joining us on the Now Indy. These are not the streets of central Indiana, thankfully, here as we go into our Friday evening rush hour. You are looking at the roadways there in Minneapolis where the snow has been falling. They are on the coldest side of the system. They're looking at about 6 to 10 inches of snow. Here we're going to be a little bit warmer, and that means a mixed bag, including the potential for some freezing rain. It should be fairly light, but a little bit can cause us some problems. That's why we do have that winter weather advisory that kicks in at 7 o'clock this evening. Does go around Martinsville, including Indianapolis and all areas to the north for us. Satellite and radar shows that we've got some of that snow back into portions of Illinois. It's been an icy mess around St. Louis, but still dry here in central Indiana. Because of this, our dew point is only 18 degrees, so that is very dry air. Our temperature at 30 right now. Here's a look at TrueCast as we go through 10 o'clock. I think it's going to be very scattered on the snow showers, and any of that freezing rain should be pretty brief. As we get into the early overnight, you start to see that shield of pink, and that's that freezing rain that'll last probably about 3 hours or so before temperatures actually start to warm from the southwest, transitioning us over to some rain by sunrise tomorrow morning, so things are going to be melting. But here's a look at that ice potential. Again, looking at generally less than 1/10 of an inch of ice, so some slick spots certainly out there as we go through tonight. And that snow potential, most areas, central and southern Indiana, going to be less than 1 inch. But you can see as we get toward Crawfordsville, even to Logansport, could see 1 to possibly 2 inches of snowfall. A lot of that's going to be melting pretty quickly, though, as temperatures rise on Saturday. More on that in a few minutes. Amanda?
All right, thank you, Kyle. A Johnson County couple saw a problem and decided the best way to face it was to do something about it. As RTV6's Rafael Sanchez reports, they are now facing a May deadline as they seek to collect, fix, and then hand out dozens upon dozens of bicycles.
From the wheels to the chains.
Well, I thought it was really cool when we started.
To the frames. This has become a family affair.
It's a lot of work.
Jana Phillips is behind the project called Petals of Joy.
So I definitely say if there's something you see that you think can make a difference, do it.
This all began after she and her husband John bought a bicycle for a young man who had no transportation to school. The couple began asking friends, neighbors, and people online to donate bicycles they were no longer using in order to refurbish them and then donate them to kids in need.
I think the kids will be very happy with their new bikes because we're definitely trying to get them as good as possible.
Donations have come in from the city of Greenwood as well as the Shelbyville Police Department. Each bike will come with a helmet.
If it's something to help a kid out in the long run and put a smile on their face, and that's what it's going to take.
This has all revolved around a chain of events, hoping to distribute 200 bicycles to young people in the month of May.
If they help one kid, in 10 years that kid may help 10, and that's what the world needs.
And the couple received a grant from the Johnson County REMC to help purchase helmets. The big event is Saturday, May 16th from 9 to noon at the Greenwood Amphitheater. If you would like to donate a bike, you can email pedalsofjoy@yahoo.com, or you can go to their Facebook page, Pedals of Joy. Annie.
A new virus that has killed at least 2 people in China and infected dozens of others in other Asian countries is prompting new security here in the U.S. The CDC announcing today health screenings for the virus will start at 3 U.S. airports where flights are coming in from a particular area of China. Airports in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and JFK in New York. Scientists identified the illness as a new strain of coronavirus. It's in the same family as SARS, a deadly respiratory condition. Symptoms can range from fever and coughing to kidney failure and in some cases lead to death. Counterfeit medication is costly and a deadly problem. There have been deaths nationwide because of fake opioids. Cancer and diabetes medications are also targeted. Worldwide, fake pneumonia and malaria medications kills thousands of people every year.
Every single pill or tablet can be verified.
So that's where a biomedical engineering team at Purdue University comes in. They've created a security tag that can be built into any medication. It's an edible protein layer that contains natural fluorescent particles arranged into patterns. As an added layer of security, the patterns are physically unclonable. A person would use their smartphone to take a picture of the pill to see the pattern and know it's authentic. Then they could upload the photo to an app which could tell them even more important information like dosage, frequency, and any warnings about side effects or interactions.
So that the patient can really have a good understanding on how to take and how to make sure their medication when they have some other complex medications or disease.
The Purdue team has a couple of patents pending. They're looking for partners like pharmaceutical companies to get this into the production stage and scale up the app. They estimate it will cost only about 1 cent per pill or less to add the security tag. President Trump is adding to his defense team. Ken Starr and Alan Dershowitz will help defend the president with the Senate trial that's expected to begin Tuesday. Starr's investigation led to President Clinton's impeachment, and Dershowitz has had several high-profile candidates, including Jeffrey Epstein. Well, more ahead in our lineup. Police departments are starting to use a tool to find missing people and children. How this kit can be used by the everyday person to find people quicker.
Happy hunting.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. There are a couple of less dining options in central Indiana. Permane Brothers closed its Greenwood and Avon locations on Tuesday. That leaves only one restaurant in Indiana, the downtown Indianapolis location at Circle Center Mall. It opened in 2016.
Parents are being warned about another baby sleeper. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says people should avoid using the Swaddle Me by Your Bed sleeper. It's made by Summer Brands. The agency says the sleeper could pose a suffocation risk for babies. There have not been any deaths or injuries linked to the sleeper. Well, police in New Jersey are giving families their own kits to collect and store scents. It's in an effort to help police in case someone goes missing. Detectives with the Maywood Police Department say the kits will be useful when they're looking for missing kids or people with dementia or autism who may have wandered away from home. Now, all families need to do is swab a piece of cloth on someone and then store it in the safe. The safe is tamper-proof, making it useful for criminal investigations as well. Only that person's scent is captured. The police captain who created the Find 'em scent safe explains why canines can get confused.
And what happens is, if one of my kids go missing, instinct, I'm going to go look for them. And I'm leaving a trail also. So that scent item will now have my scent, my children's scent, and the dog does not know who to go trail.
So if or when a family hands the kit over to police, canines will have an easier time finding the person. Unlike other fingerprint or DNA kits, though, these scent kits are meant to locate, not identify a person.
We want to save lives. When somebody's missing, we are really running against the clock. We don't want that person to get injured, more disoriented, if they take medications, anything.
So a person's scent should be renewed once a year to better help dogs detect their trail. Still ahead in our lineup, snowstorms can have a big economic impact, but they're really hard to predict. We're checking out a new tool that could change that.
Only on RTV6 News.
Many churches are reconsidering their security measures after shootings inside houses of worship around the world. Chloe Nordquist shows us a new effort to give churches tools to protect their members.
Going to church is a time for praise, peace, and love.
We celebrate our love for Christ and our love for each other.
Instead of just focusing on their messages of faith, pastors like Craig Burris are now having to think about keeping their congregation safe during services.
There's the old sense that I'm going to trust God. And then there's the realism of, well, in the world we live in, where people don't recognize and understand the sacredness of the space. We've had to take steps in order to try to protect our people, but do it in a respectful, loving manner.
Monroe Goins is a security officer for the First Baptist Church of Greater Cleveland.
We use these tools.
He has almost 3 decades of law enforcement experience. From using walkie-talkies to installing security cameras and new door systems, First Baptist has implemented a number of safety measures since 2018.
I believe that churches should have a plan in place.
Attacks at a church in Charleston, South Carolina, a mosque in New Zealand, and several others in Texas.
I would say that it has increased.
Now the state of Ohio is taking a more hands-on approach. Ohio's Emergency Management Agency recently released a toolkit that provides presentations, planning documents, and case studies for churches.
It provided scenario-based tabletop exercises.
But the toolkit hasn't been welcomed by everyone.
This is not something that we could endorse or recommend to churches.
Former pastor Christine Eggert now manages a gun violence organization called God Before Guns.
For there to be a toolkit about gun violence in a church that is not taking into account anything about people's theology, about what people believe, about what church is, doesn't mean that there aren't other ways that we can try to keep each other safe.
Among talking to other pastors as they're looking at preparing their budgets, more money is earmarked for security.
Because in the event of an active shooter situation, one of the biggest factors is time.
It's very rare that the police arrive in time for rapid mass murder.
Ron Borsch is a former officer who studies these situations.
So the simple solution is having armed and trained on-site good guys. The security officer without a gun is a victim.
We really prefer not to have people bring weapons into the church.
It is an option First Baptist Church of Cleveland is considering.
How do we maintain an open, welcome environment, but yet be responsible for keeping people safe?
I'm Chloe Nordquist reporting.
Spring is home improvement time, and millions of Americans are now starting to plan those springtime projects. Consumer reporter John Matarese shows us which improvements will get you the most money back at selling time so you don't waste your money.
Thinking of a home improvement project in 2020? Maybe a new kitchen or bathroom, or you decide it's time to finally build that sunroom you've always wanted. Well, you may want to know which projects will give you the best return on investment this year. It used to be that a kitchen upgrade was the best investment you could make, but thanks to Chip and Joanna and HGTV, other upgrades now top the investment list. Remodeling Magazine says the best return on your dollar is a new garage door. If yours looks like the 1970s, you'll get 98% of your money back at resale. Next is manufactured stone veneer in front of your house with a 97% return. Also, a new front door, returning 91% of your money. They're followed by a wood deck, basic kitchen remodel, siding replacement, and window replacement. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, the worst home improvements for your dollar. An upscale kitchen or master suite in a small, older house. You may only get back 50% of your $100,000 investment, which will have you saying, doesn't that stink? The problem, you have over-improved your house based on the neighborhood. In the end, all home improvement projects are good projects if they make you happy. Just know that some do better at resale times. You don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
Interesting stuff there. Speaking of home improvement, a great place to get ideas is the Indianapolis Home Show that opened today at the State Fairgrounds. They have over 900 vendors this year. The centerpiece home is always a big draw. Davis Homes built the one-story home inside the Expo Hall. The show runs through Sunday, January 26th. We have a promo code you can use to get a discount on your tickets. Just type RTV6 at checkout. I always love going through that house, Kyle.
Yeah,
so fun.
A little fire by the pool. That'll be nice come the spring and summer, right? Yeah. Well, as we look west over downtown Indianapolis, we got the clouds. And if you could see into Illinois, that's where you would find some wintry precipitation that's going to be moving our way here as we go through the next several hours. Right now, temperatures upper 20s to around 30 degrees. And these numbers are not going to move a whole lot. Actually, they'll start to rise as we go through the evening. Mostly cloudy skies, maybe a stray snow shower or two. 2 between now and about 9 o'clock this evening, with that temperature coming up to around 33, and then we'll get into a little more of that wintry mix. So here's a look at TrueCast for you. You can see a few of those very light showers as we get to 8:30 this evening, but the more widespread precipitation moving in here around and just after midnight. All this pink representing where we could have some sleet and more likely some freezing rain for about 3 hours or so, because then the temperature is continuing to warm here. By 4 a.m., still some of that freezing rain. Indy to Muncie and Anderson. Terre Haute, though, already dealing with rain. And as we get into sunrise tomorrow morning, you notice that shift to just plain old rain here. So we're expecting, as far as snow, all of these are going to be on the light side. About an inch possible around Crawfordsville. You get toward Logansport, maybe 1 to 2. 1/10 of an inch or less of ice, and an additional ½ inch to 1 inch of rainfall here on Saturday. Now, temperatures will come up into the 40s, and then as we go into the afternoon, the rain pulls away. The colder air is going to move in here, and we'll have those wind gusts around 40 miles per hour. That sends temperatures to the coldest we've had all year. 19 degrees for the high on Sunday. That's after starting at 12. With breezy conditions, it'll feel more like 0. We start to moderate. 31 the high on Tuesday. Annie?
Scientists have created a new kind of living robot they hope could help with everything from pollution to medicine. It was created by pairing frog cells and artificial intelligence. Scientists at the University of Vermont say the cells can walk across a petri dish. They also have the ability to stitch themselves back together when they're cut in half.
So a lot of work in micro robotics at the moment to build very small robots that could one day be swallowed in pill form, and that those small robots could hold a small amount of medication and swim to exactly where the medication needs to be deposited.
He also thinks they could be used someday to find and pull microplastics out of our waterways. His team is looking to do a follow-up study that would build robots from the cells of mammals. He says this could advance medical treatments by sending cells from the patients themselves to repair damage without any negative immune responses. From where it's going to snow to how much snow is going to fall, snowstorms are some of the hardest weather events to forecast. But now scientists at NASA have a new tool to help improve those forecast models. Maya Rodriguez introduces us to a unique plane, a snow chaser.
Pretty to look at, but at times treacherous to encounter. When snowstorms wreak havoc on the ground, it can come with a cost.
Snow can have a huge economic impact.
Yet, because of limited research, snowstorms are not as well understood as other weather phenomenon, like where tornado outbreaks might happen or where hurricanes might make landfall. But that's about to change. Inside this noisy hangar at NASA's Wallops Island facility in Virginia sits a specifically outfitted P-3 aircraft, also known as a snow chaser.
To be able to fly inside the clouds where the snowflakes form enables us to study the processes that go into forming the snowflakes that eventually fall down to the earth as snowfall in your backyard.
It's all part of a 5-year, $30 million project called IMPACTS. The team is embarking on its first snowstorm chasing flights this month, focusing on the Northeast and Midwest.
It gets a bit turbulent. The plane's very capable. It has great de-icing systems. We would never put our crew or our passengers or the scientists in an unsafe position, so we do a very good job at mitigating the risks. But yeah, you do have to willing to accept a certain degree of turbulence and bumps here and there.
It's been 30 years since there's been a major study of snowstorms like this one. What they're hoping to find out this time around is not just where the snow is going to fall, but just how intense that snowfall might be.
People think the forecasting is really easy and simple, but it's actually very complicated, and hopefully we will be doing a better job so we can help Joe Citizen know what to do when there is a storm threatening.
Beyond that, scientists also hope to learn how snowfall can impact the water supply all over the planet, and how snow in one part of the world could possibly have an effect on a drought somewhere else.
We need water to survive, and we need to understand how the water goes through the whole Earth system.
An ecosystem where winter wonderlands play a crucial part. On Wallops Island, Virginia, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Maya, thank you. Well, there's an ongoing challenge to recruit hairstylists to help detect skin cancer. We actually told you about this last month. There's an online course stylists or really anyone can take to learn about spots that may or may not be skin cancer. We've learned that when our story aired, a high school trade skills teacher in Indiana saw it. She ended up getting her entire cosmetology class to take the training to get certified. And now they're challenging other schools to take the course as well. The program is called Eyes on Cancer and And you can go to hairstylistmelanovachallenge.com to get a free code to take the course. Finally, in our lineup, you may have noticed this week's Spotify added playlist for your dog. We're getting answers on if your pet is actually benefiting from this.